At the time, she was my unborn daughter.
Ah.
It was kind of...
Go ahead. No, finish.
When I came up with the idea for the film, I used to live in a little village in England where we had this great bit like we had that community spirit, and I moved to London. I lived in London. I went back there and I felt that spirit gone. And the shop I used to work in as a kid, and all the old people used to come in more for a chat than to buy stuff. That had all shut. There was big houses built everywhere, and just thought, you know, that sense of community's gone, and I thought it was quite sad, and we're all getting overrun by community supermarkets, and so it was sort of. I was hoping I could move back to a village like that one day and bring my daughter up there, but it was kind of sad when I went back and it had all changed. And so that's who Bessie is anyway.
Okay, we're going to open up the questions to the audience. You can just raise your hand and I'll call on you. Any questions? There's got to be many. Anyone?
Why is it called Fire Horse?
Question is, why is it called Fire Horse?
The film's called Fire Horse because it was about the changing times, and I was struggling for a name, and I Googled, I was playing around on Google, and Fire Horse came up, and it was a term used during the Industrial Revolution when steam power took over from horsepower. So people refer to them as fire horses. That's where it came from.
Very cool. Anyone else? Yes.
Timmy?
Yes.
How did you feel about being filmed, and where did you think the film was going?
To tell you the truth, David wasn't the first person who approached me. There were numerous people who approached me, but the way they approached me was all wrong. They approached me pretty much inhumanely, looking just for the story, in and out. They wanted to get something and get out as fast as possible. I had seen David pretty much out of the corner of my eye maybe 2 days before he actually approached me, you know, kind of in the area, just looking around, you know, and he did have a human side to him. That's what I felt, was that he was there more than one day. That's why I kind of let David into my world. As much as David wanted to get in, it was actually, it was also me letting him in. So I felt that it was important at some point for someone to hear a story, any story. You know, I mean, it didn't have to just be mine. It could have been anyone's story, but it just so happened that David and I did have the connection. And I did feel that it was the right person, you know, or the right vessel to tell the story. So, being filmed and everything like that, I mean, they made it easy, you know. It was more of just pretty much talking to someone, and you wouldn't even see the camera within the area, you know. So, I didn't have a problem getting the story out, and I just wanted it really to be, I just wanted it, you know, just for something for Breezy Point itself, to show that there is courage, and, you know, look, you know, we're a community, you know. I can't walk from the parking lot to my house without having maybe 30 minutes worth of conversation with 10 different people, you know. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone felt or had a voice within this community, hopefully through me.
Yes, the trust it definitely resonates, and I think that's why the film is so powerful, is that you can definitely feel the trust between the cameraman and the subject, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, hate to say it, but there were some bigger news networks that were coming in with interviews, and like I say, you know, they just wanted to get in and out as fast as possible, and I pretty much sabotaged. If they wanted to interview me, I sabotaged the whole thing, whether it be cursing or saying that I completely lost my whole pornography stash in the basement. I couldn't use any of that, you know, to do it. So yeah, it was just, you know, just another way of you know, just getting the right people in and the wrong people out, so.
Well, clearly this happened for a reason, for
Yeah.
connection. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes.
This is sort of for both of you guys. How long did it take to make these films, like production and planning and all that stuff?
Well, mine was only a 2-day shoot. I could have done about a 5-day shoot, but I only had my actors for 2 days, and it was sort of thrust on me at the last minute, because obviously I wasn't paying them a huge amount, well, nothing at all. And they had like proper jobs to do, and so suddenly I got told, right, you can have them now. So I had to do it, and it was all a massive rush. And then it did take me about 2 years to finish it, because the guy who was editing it went travelling, said he'd be 3 months, and came back about 16 months later with all my drives and everything. So yeah, it was about 2 years, but it should have been about 3 months in total.
And are you a full-time filmmaker, Matt?
First AD I work in comedy and drama, mainly in television in the UK. Do the odd film.
Who else? Yes. In the
If I'm
back.
not mistaken, I saw a producer credit of Olivia Wilde on your film. What was her involvement with?
So we're fortunate, my co-director and I, Bryn, are fortunate to have Olivia as a producer on all the films we're making. And she helps us a lot with financing and with just advice from a great, director, producer like her. And she's obviously a great actress too. So she's a great storyteller, and works with us on pretty much everything. Once we got the shots in the can, we go to the edit room and send her rough edits. She gives us notes, and she's a great person to work with.
Rock star cred for sure.
Can I ask? Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to ask Dave, how long does your film actually, how long were you shooting for? And
How long did I bug you for? Just a couple of weeks, I think. We got the initial shots right in that first week, I guess, right after the storm, and then came back a couple of times to New York. And so it was just a couple of weeks to make it, and then we did a really quick edit because we were trying to premiere it at the Tribeca Film Festival, and so we actually did end up getting into Tribeca just in time before they closed the deadline, so that was fortunate. But I wish the story didn't end where it did, because things are still progressing in Breezy Point, and Timmy and I are going to be there on Tuesday together for the 1-year anniversary, just next week. That's going to be a special moment, I think.
And you won something at Tribeca, is that right? You placed.
I wish, but no.
No?
That was last year.
Last year.
Last year, yeah.
That was the Collar movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Timmy, how did it transpire that you were able to connect with the guy that replaced the surfboarder?
That was
Upgraded your surfboard,
through
yeah.
David and Bryn. They hooked me up with oh my God, I completely forgot his name. Randall, who has a New York kayak and stand-up paddleboard company out of West Side Pier, Chelsea Piers. It's Pier 20. So it is. Yeah, and I mean, just out of the kindness of his heart, he got me the board, and like I was telling David actually just before that ending shot there, I had the one thing I kept during the storm was my wetsuit. I actually put the wetsuit on because the water, it was so cold when the water rushed up, and that was pretty much the only thing I had left, because I was going back and forth, kicking in windows, making sure everyone was all right, blah, 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 this and that. But when they got me the board, they're like, oh, here's the board, it'll be great, you can get back out when it gets warm. And I was like, I have a wetsuit, I'm gonna put this thing on right now, and I'm getting in the water right now. And David and Bryn were both just like, are you serious? Hold on, we need the camera, So, I mean, they got me out there, and that's another thing, I mean, it was, they just got me back in the water, which is, it was so powerful. I mean, I also think one of the great things is that that was the first time I was back in the water, and when I go past the buoy, I fall in the water. And I think that was a great thing that they kept that shot in, because it just shows, once again, that I fall off and I get back on. You know, it's like it's like getting back on the horse. You know, you have to do it. But yeah, once they got me that board, I was just, I had the wetsuit, I'm getting in the water, you know, so. I know David's shoes, and, you know, he was wet up to here, freezing cold in that water to take the shots, but.
Were you in a boat? How did you shoot that?
Oh, no, he walked right into that cold water.
So you were on the shore?
I was on the shore, it's November, it's snowing, crazy times.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyone else? Yes.
How did you get the guy with the camera to get all the way up on the Trade Center where you were building? I mean, you were up on what floor at that point?
We were on what part?
Started in the Trade Center.
Yeah.
We were on the 104th floor, around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would have been real scary.
Yeah.
And the camera was not shaking.
No. Yeah, it was great work.
Definitely, yeah.
Was that you on the camera, Dave?
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Who else?
That was another, I just want to mention, you know, for me, you know, when Timmy said, I'm a surfer, we had a connection instantly, but then when I spoke to him a little more, and I was like, what do you do? He's like, I'm an iron worker, building the World Trade Center. I was like, whoa, does your story get any more representative of this city, you know what I mean?
Right.
So we really had to include that element to it. I think it was like, just such a powerful thing that Timmy's this iron work on the Freedom Tower.
Yeah.
Amazing. Anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, David, I was just curious, what was most surprising to you? Like, what did you least expect to happen that actually happened during the filming of that documentary?
Wow, that's a tough one to least expect. I guess I least expected Timmy to be cool with it. You know, it wasn't just Timmy, it was his two brothers who are also like, actually way more hardcore than him. One's like a New York cop, and the other one's like, like an actor. And they, you know, Timmy's like a really easygoing guy, but they were like, what are you doing with the camera kind of thing, you know? And I had to sort of win not just Timmy over, but his whole family. And his mom was easy because she's a sweetheart, but, you know, I didn't expect that they'd let me in as far as they did and get to hang out. And we've actually become friends now, too. So that's the coolest thing about the whole thing. It's like we're buds and we stay in touch.
Yeah, awesome. Yes.
How's the rebuilding going for your neighborhood?
The rebuilding is going slowly but surely. We were promised no red tape, you know, but obviously, you know, the election passed, and then all of a sudden, you know, this and that. But the house right next to me is completely done with the outside, the siding, and I would say that house has gone up within 5 months. So it's slowly but surely, and it's just a matter. The problem is that it's a cooperative community, so it's very tight knit. They only allow so many contractors to come in. So they are also showing different types of planning and different types of housing. So in order to get your houses, because there's no roads, it's sidewalks. So that's why the fire had moved so quickly. That's another thing, but as of right now, it's not where it should be, to tell you the truth. I would say out of 91 houses that burned down, maybe 5 of them are being built right now. And yeah, we're coming up on a year, so yeah, it's not doing that well.
Anyone else? Nothing more for Matt? Want to say anything else, Matt, about your film? Any anecdotes, any interesting stories behind the making of it?
Apart from my editor who went travelling, when he came back with the drives, we finally did a cut and finished and graded it. And he got mugged in Soho in London, which is like the posh part, and everything got basically taken away. So we lost everything, but luckily where we graded it, they still had a copy, so I had to go back and do the sound again. So it was been a bit of a journey, yeah. I just wanted to say thanks for having me, and I think it's really great, this festival. I love the ethos, story can change the world. So.
Yes, definitely. And
And
thank you,
those
gentlemen.
films were really